They are still conducting a primary search there as they have finally been able to get out that fire and a lot of the hot spots that lasted through much of the afternoon for that 5-alarm fire at the apartment complex at East 9th Street and Patton Avenue. That's right by Adamson High School, if you are familiar with that area, not far away from the very popular Bishop Arts neighborhood. Yesterday was the last day of school at that high school. Today it is being used as a reunification center to bring families back together who lived in that apartment complex as so many people scrambled to get out of it earlier today. Our Cole Sullivan is on scene there this afternoon. Cole, you've been there for much of the afternoon. Can you bring us up to date on what you're seeing right now?
Jason, we have a new vantage point now. I want to show it to you so you can see what we're seeing. The fire is out here. My photographer, Giovanni Garcia, and I actually walked past this when we arrived here on scene and did not realize we could see this apartment building from where we are because there was so much smoke. It was too hard to see this. You can just see the damage here, the destruction from the ground. Fire crews still here on scene, but no longer spraying water on this fire, just smoke coming up from what the debris that is left of people's homes. We know 23 units in this building. We do not know how many people lived there at this time or how many people were home when this happened. But we've talked to neighbors who say that they felt the explosion occur like an earthquake, they said. One 17-year-old told me that he grabbed his 11-year-old brother and ran to try to get away from their apartment next door and away from the fire that was burning at this apartment complex. He was worried there might be another explosion and wanted to get out of the way before that happened. We've heard from other neighbors with similar fears as well. We were at that family reunification center until just a couple of minutes ago where we saw people walking in, looking, desperately searching for pets to try to get more information about when they might be able to go back home to understand the extent of the damage here as well. And we know that they're doing a primary search, as you said, Jason, of this scene right now, and a grim reminder of what we hope not to have to report later on. I did see the medical examiner's van pull up here as well. We're hoping that there are not fatalities here, but we know at this point the DFR has not ruled that out. Jason?
Yeah, it is certainly a grim scene, so thank you for that, Cole. I know that we don't have any reported fatalities at this point, but as you mentioned, animals have been a big concern, Cole, and you spoke with a woman a little while ago this afternoon who had a pretty tremendous loss. Let's listen in.
We lived there. We lost our pets. We lost everything we owned.
I'm so sorry. Tell me about your pets.
I had 3 rescue cats, Marley, Koi, and York, and we had 2 dogs.
Anybody who has pets knows that they are family members, Cole, and she's not the only one we heard from today who have lost their little furry friends out there. It's a tough day.
Really is, Jason. She said she was on her way home from work. She stepped off the bus and saw the plume of smoke, started running over there. I've been in contact with her because we know that some animals from around here have been rescued, trying to make sure she can get into contact with whomever she needs to see if they're hers. But she told me she did not have a lot of hope, because when she stepped close to where we are right now, she looked over at this apartment complex that she calls home and saw fire coming out of where she says her unit was. So she's fears she's lost everything in all of this. For neighbors who live in this apartment complex, that's the huge fear. For others in this area around, they're wondering when they might be able to get home and what damage they might see just next door.
And Cole, I know a lot of people have been wondering how this ever started in the first place. We did see that truck that was sitting out right in front of this apartment complex that had the big drilling apparatus on the back of it, and it was right there at the center of what looked like there was a blast this afternoon. We've heard from people that you all have been talking to out there who say they could smell gas in the air. Obviously, that investigation goes on, but right now, it's that primary search that everybody's watching, and that will likely, I don't know if you've been given any updates on that. We're expecting that's probably going to go well into the night.
Yeah, the fire crews are going to be here through the night. You mentioned that drill rig. I talked to one neighbor who said that they were doing something, digging for something. He said the last couple days or so he's seen that. That's going to be a key part of this investigation. Everybody knows when you're digging in that kind of apparatus, you want to mark out gas lines to make sure you know where all of those are to avoid hitting one of them. We don't know if that's what happened here. We don't know what precautions were taken or steps were taken. That's all going to be investigated by the fire department here on scene. Right now, the briefing we've gotten pretty tight-lipped at this point. We know 4 people injured, brought to area hospitals. We're only about a half mile from Methodist Hospital, so very, very close, not far from fire stations either. Fire crews here within 2 minutes, the department says, so a very quick response. We have heard back from Parkland Hospital, says one patient who was brought there is in good condition, so that is some hope, as we know at least one patient is in good condition from this horrific blast behind me.
Cole, as I said to Kevin earlier, thanks for the reporting this afternoon. I know that this stuff is heavy and it pulls on your heart to cover these things because you can feel the loss that these people are experiencing out there. Really appreciate all the work this afternoon. Let us know if you hear anything else.